Hi, friends. How are you? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Every week, we have an opportunity to talk about life, business, and everything on the in-between. This conversation, because it is a conversation, this is you and me talking, because if you leave a comment, I'm going to do my best to respond. And we also have one of our team members, Liz. She's here. She's going to help facilitate questions. So as you're here, drop them in the comments and we're going to dive right in. So we want to chat a little bit about 3 ways to get unstuck. So this is the thing that we are, oh, good Lord. Hang on 1 second. See, this is me. This is me. There, boom. All right, y'all, we're gonna have a quick conversation about 3 ways to get unstuck in your business. So I'm wondering if you are ready to chat about all the things that it takes to keep your business thriving through the end of the year. How do we get to thriving instead of just surviving? Okay, so I have a question, and that question is something that's been the top of my mind. Does your business look different now than it did at the beginning of 2022? Yes or no? Does it look different? I will tell you straight up, my business looks so different. Some things in good ways and some things that I'm taking a good hard look. It's like something needs to be reassessed. So I know that this year has come with growing pains for all of us. Why? That is normal. Growing pains and having to make decisions and pivots and learn happen to all of us. Now, the people who are the most successful have found ways to get unstuck. I know what it's like to have plans unravel. I know what it feels like to not hit goals. I know what it feels like to be making investments and not seeing an ROI, a return on that investment. I understand all of those things. But I will say that I've had some really great conversations with myself and the team around 3 common ways that business owners get stuck, and then boom, how we could work through them. So you and I are having a conversation. Common way that many of us get stuck is, I don't know where to begin. Now, here's the thing. Sometimes when we first start a business, it's, I don't know where to begin. But other times, most of the time, we're in the business and there is another project, there's another initiative, there's another decision. We have to change something. And this is a common theme. I don't know where to begin. And so instead of making a decision to take an action, we make a decision to think more. But thoughts don't change outcomes. Thoughts are the catalyst to action, and action is the thing. Now, I know it's normal to feel lost because you aren't quite sure, hey, what's the next step that I should be taking? Heck, sometimes people are like, I don't even know the first step that I should be taking. But we got to just lay something out. Running a business is not for the faint of heart. And I believe, and I have seen, and I have practiced, and I have known that scrappy action is always better than perfectly planned ideas. What I have seen with small business owners, and a small business is anything classified less than $20 million, that is my jam. That is who I know I speak to. That is who I know intently with all of my heart, my intellect, my soul. I know this person. If you are a business owner making less than $20 million, I am here to tell you that scrappy action is always better than perfectly planned ideas. What I see a lot of is getting caught up in the weeds and making sure the plan is right. There is no such thing as a perfect plan. There is a plan that is executed, pivoted, changed, and improved on. Those, friends, are the real plans. A common way, number 2, that business owners get stuck is that it is easy to think, it is easy to believe that other people have more, that other people know more, that other people do more. And this is a lie from the pit of hell. It is just a lie. I'm going to call it for what it is. On the outside, and what has been glamorized on social media is that other people have something you don't. And I am here to remind you not to compare yourself to you, not to compare your practice reel to somebody else's highlight reel. Because what you see is 100% of your movie. You see 100% of your life's story, and you're comparing it to somebody else's 2%. Because what people put out online and what they broadcast is 1 to 2% of their reality. And that's being generous. Do you see somebody like, I just have seen way too many times where somebody is flossing a really nice handbag and it's like business is going well. But like, we don't know if that person is renting that handbag. We don't know if that handbag was a gift. We don't know if buying that handbag put them $2,000 in debt. We don't know anything. And yet we look at a handbag, a car, a trip, anything, and we say, oh, they have more because they're doing more and they know more. Baby, you don't know anything about anybody else's story. So if you don't know what is going on with anybody else, my best advice is that you do you. You focus on you. I am going to here to remind you, encourage you from now to the end of the year. How about you put an active stop sign from comparing yourself to other people's accomplishments? And instead, focus on being better than you were yesterday. One of my favorite quotes is that comparison is the thief of joy. Are you not happy? Take a good hard look and assess if you're looking at what other people have in relation to what you don't. Comparison is the thief of joy. The third way that business owners get stuck is that we like to tell ourselves, well, nobody cares about what I'm posting. Nobody's paying attention. And when you say nobody pays attention, that is true. And when you say, I am finding ways to get people to pay attention, that is true. Which one will you decide? Facts. Because I understand that when I have this conversation, the question that usually comes up is some sort of variation of what's the point of putting my stuff out there if no one is responding? That is what I hear a lot of. And I am here to tell you that all it takes is one person. I am in the game of one person. I coach business owners that it is a game of one person. You need one person to give a rip about your business. You need one person to buy, because one person will lead to two, and two leads to 10, and 10 leads to 50, and 50 leads to 100, and that goes to 200, 500, 700, 1,000 people. We have to start with one instead of being so consumed with the 1,000 or the 100,000. Keeping your content focused on the one person who needs what you hear, like needs to hear what you have to say. That becomes the foundation. When we become so honed in on serving a specific person in a specific way, we learn more. And when we learn more, we are able to do more. And when we do more with a strategy and with a plan, the outcome is different than what it used to be. When we serve one person, we understand what they want, they're transacting on our business, and then we look back and say, oh, that's what happened in this situation. Let me see if I could do it again, this time differently, because I want a different outcome. If I want a different outcome, I need to do things differently. So the question I have for you today, I started off with a question and I said, does your year right now look different than it did at the beginning of 2022? And I saw a lot of yeses in the comments. I said yes. So the second question I have for you is, will you commit to doing what it takes to up-level your business and keep thriving over these next few months? Because you have to say, I am committed. You can't just keep on like meandering. Okay. No. Are you committed? Are you committed from now to the end of the year? And I am telling you, I'm not asking you to do something that I have not done. I sat down with my husband and business partner and I said, come hell or high water, I am committed to the end of the year. At the end of the year, I'll have a different conversation. But right now, I'm committed. I'm not looking to the left. I'm not looking to the right. I'm not looking to the past to be like, oh, look at how good those days were. Or look at those decisions that I was making. No, I'm done. I am looking forward and I'm committing to the end of the year. So the question becomes, how? How can you get everything you want to get done before the end of the year? How do we stay committed to the work? How do we begin to strategize? Well, I don't know about you, but I, for 12 years, was a one-woman show. I did not hire my first team member until I had had a business for 12 years. That was a big mistake. However, if you're in the position where it's just you, or maybe perhaps you have a small team, let's chat about productivity. I have put together a productivity planner to streamline your workflow. It's free. I just put it together because it really helped me. And I believe that hey, let's start getting results. You can go to jasminestar.com/productivity. So why? Why do I care about people's productivity? Well, we can get to that in the Q&A, but more than anything, at the end of the day, I think we should have like a real honest conversation that we have so much to do. As business owners, you don't wear one hat, you wear like 87 hats a day. And so I think that I have found a way to really understand my relationship with time. People are like, well, how do you get so much work done? And I'm like, I understand my relationship with time. I've gotten really good at getting productive in smaller amounts of time. And so I wrote it all out in that PDF. It includes like a complete breakdown of my day, but let's dive into Q&A because that's where the party stands. That's how we go. All right. So Jennifer Robertson, I'm good at getting customers to try products, but not so much with the business. Suggestions? Jennifer, can you add a little bit of clarity? You're like trying products, like, do you mean for free? Can you clarify that for me? Another question from Kelly. Does the productivity planner teach how to lead or to be a leader by chance? Girl, okay. I love this question. And it's actually leading me to create something else. But what I said it was a productivity planner. I did not say it was focused on leadership. So there's that. So the very clear answer is it's not on leadership. It is about personal responsibility. I believe that I could never ask the team to do things that I wasn't doing. And like right now in the chat, Elizabeth, AKA Liz, is leaving comments. But I believe that Elizabeth, she is now prepared. She's like, Jasmine, here's a reminder of this class that we're doing. I'll be there to support. She's working in advance of this live recording, and then she will work later and help me facilitate what was the common themes that we saw? What were the questions? How can we create another free live chat in the future? And then Liz will take this back and say, hey, Jasmine, Kelly had asked about a leadership guide. Do you think that we should start working on content for that? Productivity is understanding how to multiply time. And the way that you multiply time is by doing something once and then twice and then figuring out what is the better way of doing this. Now, Liz has been on the team for more than a few months. She's been a handful of months now. And now that she's fallen into the cadence, she's looking in advance, understanding how to be more productive with the time that she has been given. But I believe with all of my heart, the only way that Liz has been able to be trained in what it means to be productive is number one, she's hungry. Number two, she's asking for feedback. But number three, we have a standard. But the standard starts at the top. I created this productivity planner for myself, and then I passed it on with my team by way of my actions. So Kelly, if you would like to do the same, you could absolutely download it. You get disciplined, you figure out what works for you, and then you set the standard of expectation for your team. Ooh, okay. Shweta, can you teach how to sell on Amazon? Actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/official Jasmine Star, I gave an entire keynote to Amazon sellers. Like you can literally go through, and I gave that keynote in 2019. So you're gonna have to scroll a little bit, but that video will do more than like a 2-minute answer here. But quite honestly, when it comes to selling on Amazon, I believe that if you are an Amazon reseller, it would also behoove you to also set up a Shopify store. But listen, to each their own. And I get into that, why I do that on Amazon. And I go into, yes, I believe that you should also have a Shopify store. And I believe that you should be making content, period, the end. But here's the thing. If you sell on Amazon or if you sell on Main Street USA, my approach is still the same. Not everybody agrees with the approach, but I'm like, I see the approach. I've done the approach. I teach the approach. And I've seen other Amazon sellers kill it in this capacity. So that's my answer. Okay. So Jennifer had asked, I'm good at getting customers to try products, but not so much to purchase the products. Great. So Jennifer followed up and said, I really want people to purchase and not just try. So Jennifer, I'm going to walk you through the exact process that I am going through right now. I am CEO of Social Curator. This is a monthly subscription for people to have a planning app. So people, we give business coaching, we give resources, we give caption templates. We want people taking action to market their business, right? So what we have is a 2-week free trial. So if you go to socialcurator.com/trial, you get access for 2 weeks. Now, there is a group of people who go through the trial and then they upgrade. And then there's a group of people who go through the trial and then they don't sign up. The people who are not signing up are greater than the people who are signing up. As a business owner, that's not a good thing. I want the trial to be irresistible so that somebody understands the value we offer and is like, well, this is a no-brainer. But in order for me to understand why people are not signing up, I cannot guess. So what I have done just yesterday, I sat for 5 hours, and I sat with users who went through the trial and upgraded, and people who went through the trial and didn't upgrade. And I started asking them, what did you do? What actions did you take? How did you find it valuable for people who signed up? And for people who didn't sign up, I'm like, what happened? What did you not see? What were you looking for? How could we make it better? And so I'm going to ask you, if you're selling a product and they're trying the product and they're not buying, you need to know why. Because if you don't ask the person who tried it, you're going to be living in pure speculation. And learn from my mistake. I sat in speculation way too long. Yes, I was talking to users, but I was not doing the specific strategy. I have a set of questions. I have a document. I know their name. I know their Instagram. I know how many drafts they set up. I know what they did and what they did not do. And so based on what the people who didn't sign up are telling me, I now have a clear path of what we need to change. And there's a lot. There's a lot we need to change. And it feels ugly. And it feels like I'm staring at this like Mount Everest of stuff that needs to change and stuff that needs to happen. I feel like it's not happening fast enough. I have no idea. I'm not a technical founder, and I have a tech team, and I trust implicitly when our CTO, our Chief Technology Officer, says, Jasmine, we're working as fast as we can. I trust him. I still don't think it's fast enough. But I can only make these requests because I am actually talking to the user. If you don't know why people are not buying from you, if they're trying and not buying, then your whole objective for the next 30 days is talk to as many people who didn't buy and get your answer, and then shift it all. Okay, so Catrice, do you have content on how to start a YouTube page? Well, I'm going to give the same advice I give for anything. Just start doing. If you ever decided to scroll down to my early YouTube videos, they're the worst things on the internet. like I didn't have a light. I didn't have a mic. I didn't have a background. I just stood in front of a camera and I was like, okay, so today we're going to be talking about, and I was making content. I was a photographer. So I was making content on photography. Those videos have 30, 40, 50, 60,000 views. They're the worst videos ever. And you want to know what? The content was searchable, the content was findable, and the content was relevant. Do you want to start YouTube? Open up a laptop, share your content, and post it. The audience will dictate what you need to do and learn. If you want to start an up level, maybe you have a ring light, maybe you have a nice laptop, and then you just talk. You could start editing later. But don't get caught in the weeds. Just start taking action. And the answer is no, I don't have a course, but my good friend, Sunny Lenarduzzi, she talks about creating your YouTube presence. Kelly asked, I've been in business for 2.5 years and I'm pretty good at leading from the front. How can I attract more coachable and hungry people? Kelly, put out content. So the woman who's on this call, Liz, she found me by way of content and by way of me speaking at a conference. Our COO, Jade, she had been following me from the content that I had put out. Our CTO, his name is Jake, his wife was following my content. And when I started asking around for a CTO, she's like, I think my husband would be a really great fit. Lo and behold, he was. You attract what you put out. It's not lost on me. I feel really, really, really fortunate. I feel very, very, very humbled that the people who work on this team are some of the most hardworking. They're scrappy. They're dedicated. They walk in integrity. What is integrity? Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Do what you say you're going to do it when you, and so we have a small team. But this small team, I always wrote down in 2000. So I hired my very first team member in like 2016-ish. I mean, I was working a long time before I hired that one person. And then by 2019, I had wrote down in a journal that I'm going to create an Olympic style team. I don't want a team. I want an Olympic style team. I want a team who looks around and will do whatever it takes to make it work. They're not the people who are waiting for something to do. They look at something and say, oh, I'm going to go and do it. They're not wondering and waiting what the next project will be. They come with ideas. They are unafraid to ask questions. They are unafraid to pitch ideas. They're unafraid to work more than 40 hours a week, if that is what is so called. They are unafraid to wake up a little bit early and go to bed later. They're unafraid to be on a mission more than on a paycheck. Do I want to pay fairly? Yes. Do I want to bonus? Of course. And there are ebbs and flows in a business when that will happen and when that cannot happen. And in both of those situations, the team that you attract are less attracted to you and less attracted to your business. They're more attracted to the vision and the mission. I know the woman who's on this call, Liz. I know Liz likes me. We cool. We share a sense of humor, but she's not here for me. She's here to serve business owners who want to take their business to the next level. Because for years, Liz had her own business. She was in business with her family. She had a wildly popular and profitable boutique. And she stepped away from the boutique. She turned the boutique over to her business partner and said, I'm going to be doing something different. Liz went on a whole new journey, came across this stuff and said, you want to know what? I know I can run my own business and run it successfully. I want to be part of a team who's serving people at scale. But the only reason I was able and am able to attract that caliber of talent is by way of the content I'm putting out. If you want to attract more, then you need to be front facing and say, this is who I am, this is what we do, but this is the mission. This is the goal. I once heard Layla Hermosi say that you need to cast a vision so big of the future that somebody else can see their big vision inside of your big vision. If you are not communicating what you want to do, other A players are gonna be like, that's cool, but I can do that on my own. What other people need to see is like, dang, that girl's gonna do something. I wanna help her get there and I wanna grow. There's opportunities for me to do that. Okay. So another question, I feel like I'm out of breath. Do I need to go exercise? Whew. Okay, so how do I get back into the groove of things if my business has actually lost money this year? Well, you have to first ask yourself, okay, I'm gonna start from the beginning. If your business has lost money this year, the first question you have to ask yourself is, do I have the stomach for this? Because if you don't, if you're saying, I lost money, I'm tapping out, then you're making the decision. You're in control of it. Don't let it happen to you. Be very cognizant of the decision you're making. If you say, I lost money this year and I'm willing to do what it takes to continue moving forward, then you're playing a different game. So I'm going to assume that you're going to say, I'm going to keep moving forward. I have the stomach for this. If you say that, then you need to look back and do a deep dive of all of your expenses. Where did you overspend? What did you overestimate? And or what sales or streams of revenue were you planning on that didn't come in? There is a way to look at the future based on past activities. Now, I want to talk about two different things here. I want us to be emotionally disconnected from the past and intellectually connected to the future. So there's two separate things as business owners that I have learned so distinctly this past year. Emotion must be kept away, or not kept away. It must be separated from my logic, my intellect. Emotion and logic. I love both of these pieces, but when I am making decisions, I have to ask myself, am I making an emotional decision or am I making a logical decision? So what I want to do is I want to detach myself from the emotions of the past. I don't want to let my past impact my present so that it affects my future. If I look at the past and I'm like, dang it, I made mistakes. That was not the best decision. I jacked up. And then all of a sudden I carry the weight of the past today. It will affect what I do in the future. So what I need to do is, number one, separate my emotions from the past and say, I learned something that I will not do again. Okay, cool. Intellectually, I'm going to look at what I did or what I spent or what I underestimated in the past intellectually. Maybe you joined a mastermind. Maybe you hired a business coach. Maybe you spent money on Facebook ads. And then intellectually you say, I went under this year. What do I need to do today? Do I need to cut back on the mastermind? Do I need to let go of a coach? Do I need to cut back on Facebook ads? And I'm not saying you should do any of those things. I believe investing in a coach. I believe in Instagram and Facebook ads. I use them. They work, but they only work with a very clear strategy and a plan that you can implement. So then your present day, as long as you've disassociated your emotions from your logic, you come back and say, emotionally, I'm not going to be shackled because I've made the decision to release that and bless it because it got me here. Intellectually, I'm going to look back and be like, okay, what did I not do? And when did I overestimate? And once I have a very clear plan of what I will refine, then I go into the future. But I am not going into the future hopeful. I'm going into the future saying, I'm taking what I've learned in the past, building a strategy, and then building a plan that I can implement every single day to get me to where I want to go. And then I reassess. And so I have to tell everybody here that that is an active decision that I have to make. I mean, maybe it sounds dramatic, but like every day I wake up and I say, I'm going to have an intellectual conversation with myself. And I'm going to say, what did not work this year? And what will I do today to impact the future? I decided that I could stomach being in a really risky situation because I had a plan and a strategy. That is not for everybody, and that is okay. But if you make that decision, you must stay in control of the decision and monitor the emotions that you have attached to that decision. Because if you make a decision, but you're dwelling in fear and you're dwelling in your past mistakes and you're always looking back and being like, I can't believe I made that mistake, because that's the thing. I always do that. I always miss my goals. I will never be enough. My dad was right. I'm really flighty. I don't finish my projects. If that's what you continue to say, that is what will manifest in the future. Because you're treating your brain, the most powerful muscle in your body, and you're telling it what to do. I will never, and it always. I will never, and it always. Until you say, I'm actively going to stop the negative thoughts that brought me to this point and decide, instead of it won't work, to I am actively finding ways for it to work. Instead of saying, I don't have money, we're going to ask ourselves, are there creative ways for me to find the money to get what I want? Instead of saying, I don't know what to do, we simply say, I am working on learning what to do. Friends, nothing changes about the situation except the mindset, except the viewpoint. Everything that has brought me to this point in 2022 has been on the back of breaking again and again and again, because it's enough for me to try to beat myself into submission to say, you are going to hit your goals. I'm going to muscle you through. And so all of a sudden, I realized that I was in the boxing ring with two people. I'm one of them, and the other person in the ring is myself. And so I am beating up myself, trying to say, you got to get better. This is the thing you should do. Keep on going. You suck. Come on. And I realized that at the end of the fight, there were two people who were bruised, both of them, which are me. So I thought to myself, can I get myself out of a boxing ring and get into a courtroom? There is the defense and there is the prosecutor. Can I put before a case and say, here is the evidence of moments leading up to this? And if I was the prosecutor, the defender, and the judge, as the judge, I get to say, I see the evidence and I'm going to rule in the favor of the future. And the future me is saying, good job for not giving up. And the future me is saying, you took what you had and you made it work. And the future me is saying, good job for bringing a small group of people along with you on the journey who then transform their lives and their family legacies. Good job for having your daughters see what it takes to get up again and again. So friends, I'm inviting you to have a conversation with yourself. Will you get out of a boxing ring? Will you move yourself into a courtroom where you are the prosecutor, the defender, and the judge, and then make a decision on your behalf? Let's go. All right, friends. Have a beautiful day. Like always, honor and privilege. If there's anything I could ever do for you, I'll see you on Instagram @JasmineStar. Much love, much gratitude. Bye, y'all.